Have you ever felt a shiver crawl up your spine just thinking about a dark forest at night? They say that's where shadows dance and whispers echo with secrets best left buried. Would you dare to step inside? Forests, once vibrant with life, transform under the cloak of darkness. The familiar becomes alien, every rustle of leaves a whispered threat. The air grows heavy, thick with the musk of damp earth and the unknown. It's a place where your senses betray you, and every instinct screams at you to turn back. But some of us are drawn to the darkness, compelled by an unseen force to confront the fear that lurks within the shadows. We crave the adrenaline rush, the quickened heartbeat, the knowledge that we've stared into the abyss and lived to tell the tale. So, I ask again, do you dare to enter? The forest awaits, and it has a story to tell, if you're brave enough to listen. As the moonlight filters through the trees, shadows lengthen and deepen. Your heartbeat echoes in the silence, your breath visible in the cold night air. Your eyes adjust to the darkness, and shapes begin to form in the shadows. Every footstep crunches on the leaves, and you feel unseen eyes watching. The wind howls through the trees, and branches creak ominously above. The path ahead disappears into darkness, filled with uncertainty and fear. Yet, with every step, your courage builds, and determination pushes you forward. The forest begins to reveal its secrets, mysteries unfolding with each passing moment. Your heart races with excitement, the thrill of the unknown driving you onward. You embrace the darkness, becoming one with the forest and its ancient tales. So I ask you one last time, do you dare to enter and face what lies within? The forest waits in silence, an invitation to explore its depths and discover its truths. The forest welcomed me with open arms, or so it seemed. Giant trees like gnarled old men reached out with twisted branches, their leaves rustling like hushed whispers in the night. The air was thick with the smell of pine needles and damp earth, a strangely comforting aroma that did little to ease my growing unease. The path, barely visible beneath a carpet of fallen leaves, beckoned me forward. Each step was softer than the last, muffled by the forest floor, as if the woods themselves were trying to swallow the sound, to keep my presence a secret. The darkness pressed in from all sides, a suffocating blanket that seemed to absorb all light and sound. Above, the moon, a pale disk in the inky blackness, cast long dancing shadows that stretched and contorted with every step I took. They seemed to writhe and twist, taking on monstrous forms that lurked just beyond the reach of my flickering flashlight. Fear, cold and clammy, tightened its grip on my chest, urging me to turn back, but something kept me moving forward. A strange mix of curiosity and dread that propelled me deeper into the heart of the forest's embrace. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes followed my every move. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional snap of a twig or the distant hoot of an owl. My hand brushed against the rough bark of a tree, grounding me in the reality of my surroundings. My breath, visible in the cold night air, mingled with the mist that clung to the forest floor. The path ahead seemed to twist and turn, disappearing into the darkness, inviting me to uncover its secrets. At a fork in the path, I hesitated, unsure which way to go, each direction promising its own set of unknowns. My compass needle spun erratically, as if the forest itself was playing tricks on me, distorting my sense of direction. Taking a deep breath, I chose a path, my heart pounding in my chest as I ventured deeper into the forest's embrace. The forest seemed to close in around me, its embrace both welcoming and menacing, as I disappeared into the shadows. The deeper I ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The darkness seemed to have a life of its own, shifting and swirling around me like a living, breathing entity. The rustling of leaves intensified, accompanied by a cacophony of otherworldly sounds. Twigs snapped under unseen feet. An owl hooted mournfully in the distance, its call echoing through the trees like a mournful lament. And always, the whispers, soft, sibilant murmurs that seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves, weaving tales of fear and madness into the fabric of the night. My heart pounded against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat that echoed in my ears. Every creak of a branch, every rustle of leaves, sent a jolt of adrenaline coursing through my veins. My flashlight beam, a feeble beacon in the overwhelming darkness, danced nervously from shadow to shadow, revealing nothing but the relentless advance of the woods. I tried to focus on the path ahead, to ignore the whispers and the shadows that danced at the edge of my vision, but the forest had a way of getting under your skin, of worming its way into your mind and amplifying your deepest fears. I was losing myself in the darkness, my senses overwhelmed, my mind teetering on the precipice of madness. The moonlight filtering through the dense canopy cast eerie shadows that seemed to move with a life of their own. A cold wind rustled the leaves, sending a chilling breeze through the forest that made me shiver. I felt eyes on me, unseen creatures watching from the darkness, their presence palpable and unnerving. The fog rolled in thicker, the air heavy with mystery and the promise of the unknown. Footsteps echoed in the distance, growing louder as if something was drawing nearer, closing in on me. My heartbeat intensified, fear gripping tighter as the forest seemed to close in around me. The shadows merged, forming ominous shapes that loomed over me, threatening to engulf me in their darkness. With a final glimpse of the path, disappearing into the night, I knew I had to keep moving, to escape the forest's grasp before it was too late. Hours seemed to melt away as I pressed on, each step carrying me further into the labyrinthine heart of the forest. The path, barely discernible now, twisted and turned, leading me deeper into the embrace of the unknown. The air grew colder, the scent of pine replaced by a musty, earthy odor that spoke of decay, and things best left undisturbed. My flashlight flickered, its beam growing weaker with each passing moment, threatening to plunge me into absolute darkness. Panic welled up inside me, threatening to consume me. I wanted to turn back, to retrace my steps and flee from this place of shadows and whispers, but the forest held me captive, its unseen grip tightening around me with every step I took. Then, through the darkness, I saw it. A faint glow, flickering like a distant firefly, beckoned me forward. Hope surged through me, a lifeline in the sea of darkness. With renewed determination, I stumbled towards the light, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. As I drew closer, the glow intensified, revealing a small clearing bathed in an ethereal light. In the center stood a dilapidated cabin, its windows dark and empty, its wooden walls rotting and overgrown with vines. It was both inviting and menacing, a beacon of hope in a sea of darkness, yet undeniably sinister in its isolation. Cautiously, I approached, my hand hovering over the rusted doorknob. The whispers seemed to intensify, swirling around me like a chorus of disembodied voices. They spoke of danger, of secrets best left buried, of the darkness that awaited within. Taking a deep breath, I pushed open the door. The hinges groaned in protest, the sound echoing through the stillness like a scream. The interior was pitch black, the air thick with the smell of dust and decay. I fumbled for my flashlight, my fingers trembling, and aimed the beam into the darkness. Suddenly, a pair of eyes blazed to life in the darkness, reflecting the beam of my flashlight. I gasped, stumbling backward, my heart leaping into my throat. A low growl rumbled through the room, sending chills down my spine. And then I saw it. A pair of luminous eyes, glowing like embers in the darkness, stared back at me. A low growl, guttural and menacing, emanated from the shadows, raising goosebumps on my arms. Fear, raw and primal, surged through me, rooting me to the spot. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Was it a wild animal, drawn to the warmth of my flashlight, or something more sinister, something that lurked in the shadows of this forgotten place? The growl intensified, closer now, and I caught a glimpse of movement in the darkness. A large, shadowy form began to emerge, its outline indistinct in the flickering light of my flashlight. Panic seized me, my breath catching in my throat. I stumbled backward, my foot catching on a loose floorboard. I fell, landing hard on the dusty floor, my flashlight skittering away into the darkness. I was plunged into absolute blackness, the growls and whispers swirling around me, closing in like a suffocating blanket. That was my night in the haunted forest. A night etched in my memory, a constant reminder of the terror that lurks just beyond the veil of reality. But the forest holds countless stories, each one more chilling than the last. Now, it's your turn. Have you ever dared to venture into the darkness? What secrets did the shadows whisper to you? What horrors did you encounter in the depths of the night? Share your stories if you dare. Let your voice join the chorus, weaving tales of fear and wonder that will